Hello, welcome back. I'm finishing up the word I had on Hosea about the husbands. And yeah, I'm just going to finish up that word. Some things are starting to make sense to me. But I'm going to tell you something. I'll wait to tell you after I finish. Okay. So, picking up where I left off, we were in the middle of the scripture on Hosea 2 and 7, where I was talking about the fact that they've been surrounded. The Lord has put them into a form of isolation, okay? With that level of isolation, they were pretty much put into a wilderness season, okay? And in them coming into this wilderness season, they didn't want to be there. Some of your spouses have walked through a level of disobedience where some of them were very easy to cater to the ear of the Lord in previous seasons. That when they heard the Lord say, I need you to pull out of this. I need you to pull out and I need you to get closer with me. They would be like, okay, I'm going to pull out, so on and so forth. But some of your spouses, depending on where they were, kind of got caught up with their surroundings. And it's funny, I'm hearing the Usher song, Caught Up. The Super Bowl was on last night. Sorry, y'all. They got caught up in them seasons. They was out there. They was hanging around with the wrong people. They got caught up in their lusts, their perversions, those things. And God said, God pulled their coattails a couple times. He's like, I'm gonna need you to come to me. They was like, I like it over here. I'm gonna need you to come to me. I like it over here. I'm gonna need you to come over here to me. And they're like, I know what's going to happen if I come over there to you. You're going to start beating on me. You're going to start chastising me. I'm going to have to go through pruning. I like it over here. And God said, oh, okay. You like it over there. Stay over there until I got something for you. I got your wife praying for you. Your wife going to pray for you. And when I'm ready, when I'm good and ready, I'm going to wall you in, block your path, and prevent you from going in any direction that you want to go in. That you will lose your way. You going to run to them lovers. Some of your men had a couple different lovers that they would go to. No. Mm-mm. Even they going to kick you out their bed. Wait, what? But I liked my lovers. She won't be able to catch them. They lovers gonna go off to other beds. They lovers are going. And God showed me several months back. He kept showing me the song I Don't Want to Know. Some of them lovers. I saw a court case on television where the woman literally had been a lover to this guy. And she was out here sleeping with everybody. Tom, Dick, and Harry. Everybody. And this was on court. And she's like, I don't really care. They gonna figure out or have figured out that they lovers wasn't just they lovers, but they was out here doing all kinds of shady stuff that could have gotten them into trouble and potentially could have gotten them some issues. Now, with that being said, search them out, but they can't find them. Yeah, because God withdrew these individuals. It's like, okay, I allowed that to be in your life because remember Romans 8 and 20, I will make them subject to their own vanity. He allowed them to be subject to their own vanity for whatever periods of time that they were supposed to be subject to their own vanity. But then he said, all right, I'm going to pull them up. And you ain't even going to be able to find your lovers. Your lovers going to be gone. The thing that made you feel comfortable in that season, that's going to be gone because I need you to go over there. So I'm going to pull that up too. So that they will return to their husband. Who is their husband? actually, for them in this situation, is God. They need to return back to God first. For I was better off with him than I am now. They were better off with God than they are now. They did not realize that it was God that gave them all of those things, gave them their status, gave them the industries that they were in, gave them that stuff. They didn't work to get that. God gave that to them from their obedience in prior seasons. And in some cases, it was the obedience of a praying grandmama that did it. That's how they got it. They did not realize that that's how they got it. The grains, meaning the things that they were eating, the things that they were yielding in the field. The wine, that strong drink that they kept. God allotted them the ability to have that for a season. The olive oil, silver and gold, the riches and wealth that they gathered. Anybody remember Solomon? And they turned around and they gave it to the gods of Baal. These men went out there, got caught up in these places and spaces because they had a, what's her name? It's a name similar to Bathsheba, but it's not Bathsheba. Remember the woman that came to Solomon and inquired of him? But it was close to Bathsheba, and it's slipping my name, slipping my memory. But she inquired, she questioned, because she needed to have answers in order to gain wisdom and understanding of how to tear him down. There were women that came to these men because of their status, their places, their locations, their what have you, and desire to tear them down. That, remember what we said in the movie review for I Think I Love My Wife, that the woman inquired, watch how she inquired in that film, all these questions in order to then therefore lead him into the lusts, the perversions, the pride of life, lust of the eyes, and fleshly desires, that therefore would strip him, because these were the only ways, remember in Numbers 22, that they could not strip what God blessed unless it came out of agreement with what God had for it. So that's what they went and did. That these women came in, and men are so easily manipulated. I was just sitting there listening to Tiffany Montgomery last night. She was sitting there talking about all the enemy has to do is put somebody in front of you. I have to walk right past you. That is your flavor. Right sides behind, right sides. That's exactly what happened. You was sitting up there wondering, well, what's taking so long? That's what the enemy did. He's like, oh, all I have to do is put something more appealing to his eyes in front of him. He won't go over there. Oh, this is more appealing. Oh, he won't go over there. And then those individuals will lure them into, I remember I was watching a word from Prophetic Poetry, and she said, a lot of your spouses ended up getting lured into, and I remember she was under such distress that weekend when she released this word. She said, I have to tell you this, your spouses came into alignment and agreement with activities, ritualistic acts, sexual perversions that literally brought them out of alignment, which was the point of Satan in these relationships. Therefore, what? Coming into agreement with Baal's gods and gifts. Sexual rituals, sexual transmutation, sexual transactions, all kinds of stuff. But now, I'll take her back. When God got tired of seeing sick and tired, and then after he had anointed you to pray for this man, all your prayers finally got to a point where you sitting up there like, well, God, what you doing? When is going to happen? When you go? And then he's saying, okay, I'm tired of hearing you pray as you prayed to the just judge, just like the woman that kept knocking on the judge's door. Well, we the woman that was knocking on the judge's door to see that, well, when you gonna go get my husband? And it's like, okay, now I'm gonna go get your husband. So God was like, I'm gonna take him back. I'm gonna take him back from all that. Yes, I allowed him to be subject to his own vanity for a season in order to let him see some things. But now I'm gonna take him back. Okay? And in me taking him back, the ripened grain and new wine generously provided each harvest season, taking away the wool, meaning the beautiful garments, the linens, the clothing, the things that they had become so prideful in. Let me take all that back. Let me take that back. That all them nice little clothes and all that stuff to cover their nakedness, I'm gonna take that back too. I'm gonna strip them naked publicly. Whatever their status is, whatever it is, I'm gonna strip it. Whether it's amongst their own communities or whether it's a public humiliation, I'm gonna strip them naked. God was like, I have told you. I tried to warn you. I pulled your coattails. I kept trying to tell you, come here. It's like, when you was a kid, maybe you was a kid, or maybe you had a sibling like this, and you was like, Mom just told me not to do that. Mom just told them not to do that. And you could watch this particular sibling, and it was like, oh, he's still not doing it. But Mom is still watching. And those parents, you ever seen that story? Come on now. Tell me you ain't seen these kinds of scenarios where the parent will do this. The child done got in trouble. And the child sits up there like, I'm going to get away with it. I'm all right. The parent's like, okay, I see what you're doing. I done seen what you did. And they're like, okay, I'm good. Okay, I'm good. Maybe Daddy forgot. It seemed like they chilled out. It seemed like they forgot that I was in trouble. They didn't even address it at dinner time. Oh my goodness. I'm good. I'm good. I can go back to doing what I was doing. Let me go back over here. And God will be like, remember that parent that will come back at 8, 10 o'clock at night and be like, come here. Wait till you good and comfortable. Your spouse was good and comfortable in their sin, and God said, come the heck here. I'm going to embarrass you now because I done told you. You ever got that whooping? You ever got that whooping? You know the whooping I'm talking about. What's the next one? While their lovers look on. Embarrass them in front of their people. Or the ones that they thought was their people. Who was just waiting to make an open spectacle of them anyway. And then, therefore, and no one will be able to save them. They could have gone to their bestie, their best friend, even their most Christian is best associate. Nope, no one's ever coming to your rescue because this is God that did this. They're not going to be able to rescue. They were not able to be rescued from the hand of God because God did this. And these people that they were going to be like, hey, can't you help? Hey, can't you help me? I need a little help. No. I don't need that smoke from God. Because I can see what this is. This is God. We tried to warn you before. You ever seen the movies like the movie, what is it? Temptations of a Marriage Counselor, and the mama was kept trying to tell the daughter, she's like, ooh, that person gonna lead you straight to hell. Oh, that. They were lovers that were in these men's lives, that there were friends that were speaking God into these men and was saying, if you don't get away from that woman, you're going to lose everything. If you don't get away from that situation, you're going to lose. If you don't allow that thing to continue to tempt you, you about to. But they were so under the guise of, and some of them, you can't blame them because some of them were under witchcraft. But some of them knew and saw what they was doing. And God said, all right. They cannot be rescued now from God's hand, because when God scruffed them up, God said, oh no. I put an end to the annual festival. Some of your spouses had specific times of the year that they would do certain types of things, whether it was public events, certain things that they would go to, certain things they were there every year. And God said, oh, hell no, you ain't doing this year. Not this time. You're going to be in isolation. It's just like when a parent grounds a teenager and says, oh, you thought you was going to the party with your friends. You're going to be grounded up in this house because I said so. You're going to be grounded up in this temple while I deal with you because I said so. You ain't going to none of those events, none of those festivities, none of those things that you would hang out with the people about. Because I done told you. I was trying to tell you back over there, but you didn't want to listen to me now, did you? So now they in. I am so hot. Oh my God, this must be the Father. Her new moon celebrations and her Sabbath days. Those people that they were associated with that was into New Age principalities, celebrations, and festivals. Them women that had lured them into ungodly rituals away from the Lord, had them participating in tarot card readings and psychic this and all kinds of that and this, that, and the other, and sexual rituals and all kinds of stuff. Remember the song by Regina Belle? Hello. All those kinds of things underneath the new moon. Getting involved, sex play, blood play, all kinds of going to festivals and dinner parties. Ungodly behaviors, and they knew it wasn't right. You ain't going in there no more. God said, stop it. I gotta get you cleaned up. I will destroy her grapevines. Anything that grew in that season that they was not supposed to put their hands to, anything they developed, nurtured, and was stemming from ungodly behaviors, rebellious activities, ungodly rituals that they had gotten themselves involved in, no daggone well that wasn't of God. Them grapevines, yeah, they got to go. Them fig trees with them bad figs on it, strange fruits under strange fire, oh yeah. Things she claimed her lovers gave her. Every gift that did not come from God, but came from a strange lover, which was probably being used as a daggone talisman, probably being used to enslave them, which they probably need to, hint, get rid of, throw away, burn, toss out in order for their favor to come back to them. Any of them gifts that were specifically used because the individual that gave it to him prayed over it. All that stuff. Oh, it's a nice little watch. Oh, it's nice rings. Oh, it's nice clothes, nice. Meanwhile, they was taking it to opium men and all kinds of voodoo people, and they was praying over it, soaking it in all kinds. And they were giving these to your husband. All them gifts given to them by their lovers. They got tangled in a thicket. I'm being reminded of a scene in the movie Sleeping Beauty that the prince was on the horse riding to go to the Sleeping Beauty's castle and got caught up in the thicket of the thorn, thistles, bushes, branches, all of this. Why? Because these men got tangled up. I'm being reminded it was a line from some movie where they got you tangled up all in your drawers. Because that's how they were really tangled up. Let's just be honest. What movie was that from? Where only wild animals will eat that fruit. The demonic principalities, people operating under ungodly guises, people operating under deceitful schemes, they the ones that's going to eat up all that fruit. I will punish them in those times, burning incense to those images. Some of them were burning incense. Some of them were burning all kinds of stuff because that's the way that they operated. Out there smoking all kinds of stuff, drinking all kinds of stuff. Hey, this stuff they wasn't even supposed to be ingesting because they was out here associating with the wrong folks. Mixing things. Come on now. All kinds of nastiness that they came into agreement with while they were out there in the world. Because these women done opened their noses. But in them opening their noses, they led them astray from God and said, come, serve my God Baal. Come over here. Let's burn this incense together. Come over here. Let's do these sexual rituals. Come over here. Let me make sure I fully get you out of alignment with God. And when she puts on her earrings and jewelry, some of your men wore rings and watches, and some of them did wear earrings. And went out looking for their lovers. Them ones that they would go in between because it was easier to go between people instead of to have one. Yeah. All them lovers. But meanwhile, the Lord watched, and the Lord was saddened by all of that stuff that they were out here doing. And the Lord said, but then I will win her back. God has gone through the process of getting them back. Because God said, oh, I'm going to win them back. I'm going to win them back again. I will lead this individual into the desert. Some of your spouses recently went through a wilderness period. I know when mine went into his. And I could see it. Most people may not have recognized it, but the few times I looked, I could see it. And it was a desert. And God, some of your spouses have been in a season where they have been 224, quick to listen. God was speaking to them during that season. I will return her vineyards to her. Your spouses are about to be restored, but I believe what's going to be the initiator, one is the agreement to come back into alignment with God. They had to come into agreement in order for their punishment to end. Okay? So that the vineyards could then therefore be returned and transform the valley of trouble in order to become a gateway of hope. Your prayers helped them be redeemed because they were en route to go through a level of severity in their judgment. But God removed his reproach, because in that isolation that God led them into, he then therefore allowed them to come to their knees before him. And in them coming to their knees before him, as they did when they were younger, meaning when they first started their journey and God led them into having the ability to have access to what they had access to before they lost themselves. I freed her from her captivity. God is preparing to free them. I released a couple of, you may have already seen this. This may be coming up. There's some posts coming up on the blog talking about release from the prison confessions, so on and so forth. It's funny, Usher performance came on and he performed confessions. Minuscule amount of confessions, but yeah, confessions are coming. You will call to me my husband. First, they're going to come back to God and call out to him, having an encounter with the Lord, before they then call you. Communication. I've been seeing communication everywhere there was to see communication. I've been seeing communication. What else? Lord. Instead of their masters, meaning they are going to relinquish having any Baal gods, any New Age gods, sexual gods, anything that they were associated with. They're going to renounce that and relieve that with the Lord. And that's when they can come to you. O Israel, I will wipe the many names of Baal from your lips. God has been purifying these men. God showed me. I've been seeing. These men been going through a level of deliverance that has caused them to have a level of sickness in their body. That every time, and for some of you, every time you prayed on their behalf, they went through a level of deliverance. And I'm not talking about the cute deliverance where it's deliverance. No, you know that deliverance where you see the people in the churches violently hurling? That was the level of deliverance God put them through. Yeah. I've been through deliverance services several times. I've gone to them. I've seen. I remember my pastor literally, he had to take his coat off because somebody had spit up on it so badly that it was, not only was it on the coat, it was on his shirt. These men were going through deliverance, okay? Now, where was I? The level of deliverance that God has put your spouse through, that by the time they come out of this to get to where you are, they be like, I don't want to see it no more. I don't want to mention it no more. I don't even go back there no more. I don't want it. Don't take me back over there. I don't even want to think of that. Because if I think of that, I'm associate that with that season that I had to go with that. And I will not go there. So I don't want to go there no more. So I ain't going there. I'm going to stay over here with God and you. That's why it took so long, because he needed to make sure that they were never going to go back. They're going to come out like, I don't even want to think of that no more. I want my mind to go in that direction. I don't know. On that day, I will make a covenant. Marriage is a covenant. God's going to make a covenant with them, and then they're going to make a covenant with you. You see how that works? And with all the wild animals and the birds in the sky and the animals that scurry along the ground, so that they will not harm you. God is Doesn't that sound like the restoration of the garden to you? Or is it just me? It sounds like a restoration of the garden. So, with that being said, I will remove all weapons of war from your land. Sounds like you're being taken into the promised land. What happened to David after he went into his promised land? He got to rest. All swords and bows, you can live unafraid. But he had to prune them before they were able to live unafraid. I never looked at the scripture this way. God is doing something. I will make you my wife forever. He will make your spouse in alignment with the covenant with him forever. Okay? And then he will covenant in reflection with this covenant. He will make us their spouse, as they are a reflection of God in our life. We will be a reflection to them of the covenant with him. I hope I said that right. Forever. Showing you righteousness and justice, unfailing love and compassion. I will be faithful to you and make you mine. You will finally know me as your Lord. Some of these men, and I have to address this here, some of these men have not been able to trust God fully to the capacity that we trust God, because they haven't given themselves over in all areas, including their hurts, their pains, the things that they have had to go through, all of that. They have not been able to do that fully and completely with the Lord. And because they were holding on to past traumas, pains, hurts, all these kinds of things that they had to go through, and it messed with them. It was a level of turmoil that they had to go through they weren't ready for. And they were running in a lot of cases because they didn't want to have to deal with them childhood pains, them little pains, the things that made them attach themselves to the people that they were attaching themselves to, the things that they were using all these other things to fill the space that should have filled God. But now they're going to find out that Lord is their Lord, and they're going to learn to serve him to a capacity, because they will begin to trust him to a level that which they had never trusted him before, because of the fact that they subconsciously was harboring anger against the Father for certain traumas that they had to go through as younger adults.